gonna try something a little bit different. And we're up at 2 in the morning. We're gonna go do some shore fishing today. So one of the questions that we get asked constantly, all the time, is, can you please do something about shore fishing? And it's really interesting, because when we talk about baits, when we talk about techniques, you know, when we're just discussing fishing, whether it's on YouTube or on Instagram Lives or whatever, you know, we're always speaking from a reference point of standing on the deck of our boat and fishing bigger bodies of water. And, you know, shore fishing, you know, all the things that we talk about can certainly be applied to the bank. But, you know, when you're standing on the bank and fishing, you have to approach things differently. You almost have to dissect every step. It's different, right? And you don't have the luxury of like finding a bite and then just running all over the lake and repeating it. You literally have to constantly be adjusting as you move, because there's only so far you can go. So today we're gonna head out. We're gonna pick a brand new spot that we've never been to before. So I have no recollection of, like, I have no history in this area. So, you know, I know things that should work just based on past experience, but it'll be fun to just break down a new place and show you guys how we would approach fishing from the bank. Hopefully we'll catch some smallmouth, hopefully we'll catch some largemouth, and we're gonna have some fun. So let's see what happens. So we finally made it down to the water, found the river. So it's kind of late morning. We were hoping to start, you know, right at sunrise so we could try to capitalize on that first thing bite, but we're still gonna hit it up with some topwater, see if we can get something active while they're still kind of laying in this lower light. So we're basically just gonna try to break this thing down. We're gonna start with reaction, see if we can find some kind of aggressive fish, and then as we find an area where they're holding to, then we'll pick it apart slower with the jig, maybe a free rig, and just try to find, you know, colors, size. We're just gonna play, right? So we're gonna start with the buzzbait, we'll throw it around. I've got the Veruna 110 tied on, I got a little Depths football jig tied on. We're just gonna bounce around, see if we can figure out what type of stuff they're on. It's not convenient, that's for sure.
100%. Oh!
Little guy, little smallmouth. All right, we're on the board. We're not setting records, but aggressive hit. They got it by the front hook. That's a good sign. Little smallmouth bass. So, first spot. Jerkbait. Jerkbait's always a great way to try to find them, track them down. Beautiful fish, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous fish.
That was sick, dude.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, buddy. Long arm release. Okay. Crank that. So these Depths headlock football jigs, these are a great option for, you know, fishing smaller bodies of water from the shore, like an area like this, because they're really compact. We threw some reaction baits, caught a couple like really little ones. So we're gonna go to the bottom, see if maybe we get a couple bites. Maybe they're feeding more on crawdads, and then we'll see what happens. I haven't made a single cast without bringing grass back in. So you crankbait it, and if it sucks, I'm gonna free rig something. There's a lot of grass here, a lot more than I thought. I figured it'd be rockier out there, but we're pretty low in the river system, and so I think it's just super fertile. So the jig was hanging a lot in the grass. So finesse is probably the way to do this, but before I go to a free rig or a drop shot or something, I just want to try to see if I can find if there's an active zone, like if there's a lane, if they're in, you know, 3 foot or out in the current or whatever. So we'll throw a crankbait around for a little bit, see if you know, we can get some kind of reaction, and then we'll slow it down. Okay. Let's try to finesse it. All right, so we're just gonna slow it down through some reaction. They weren't super aggressive, so we're just gonna pick it apart, make sure we're in an area where there's fish, because again, I may have picked a bad spot, or they just might not be aggressive. So for me, either a drop shot or a free rig is a great way to go. I'm just gonna start with a 3.5 inch Doe Life stick, which is usually my starting point when I don't know what they're feeding on. I'm going with green pumpkin, just because it's a color that is good and clear, muddy. I mean, it just catches them everywhere. It could be a bluegill, crawdad. So we're gonna throw it around, see what happens. Hopefully get some bite. There's a ton of grass here. So I'm hoping that the fish are just in the grass, and I haven't really been able to present it right to them yet. So pick it apart a little bit longer and work our way up the stretch, and if we can't figure it out, then we'll move. And first cast with a free rig into the grass. Smallmouth. So another little smallmouth, beautiful fish again. But first cast with a free rig, I knew there had to be some fish in that grass. You know, we're getting somewhere, I think. So I think maybe we just have to slow it down, pick it apart. One of the reasons why the Doe Life stick is so effective, for years and years and years and years, a Senko has been, I mean, you know, go-to unstoppable bait. And the Doe Life stick is basically a combination of a Senko and a fluke. So on the free rig, it just falls so subtly and so naturally that it just mimics everything. Bait fish, crawdad. So that's why it becomes my starting point. I went the 3.5 inch size, just because it's kind of a universal size, not too big, not too small. So since we caught a couple smallmouth, I figured that'd be a perfect size. So let's see if they keep eating it or if that was a fluke.
You got him?
I don't know. First time. Getting a little bit nicer. Yeah, man, it's just a beautiful smallmouth, man. So I think one of the things that's important, you know, when we're talking about fishing from shore, is you have to really maximize where you're at, right? You just don't have the ability to roam around and move around and do things like you would do in a big lake. So literally, we've been here for about an hour, right? And literally, I started right there on that point, like 30 yards away, and I've made it to here. So I'm just trying to really microanalyze and pick things apart to try to figure out exactly what they're laying on instead of just running around everywhere. So it was 2 casts to this outer edge of weeds in 2 bites. So I don't know, maybe we're on something. See what happens. Keep going. But if I keep getting short strikes and little ones, and I think we're gonna maybe just downsize, go back to reaction, but downsize and go real finessey, see what happens. But I still think throwing the soft plastic in some of these eddies is gonna be a good way to get, you know, a really nice one out of this grass. Biggest thing with current is, you know, remember that the fish are always facing up current. So you basically have 2 options. You know, your ideal cast is to throw straight up current and have it drift back perfectly. But from the shore, you don't always have the advantage of standing where you would put a boat. So basically, oh, he came off. As I was saying, you kind of have to cross current it. So you got to pick your angles as you're casting so that you're kind of pulling it up and across with the current so that your bait can still move naturally in the current, but that you still give yourself a great angle to set the hook, which I didn't demonstrate very well right there. But we'll see if we can re-demonstrate that the proper way here, versus throwing down current and moving it up, which sometimes works, but very rarely. Almost always you've got to have a natural flow, even on little ones. They're just so used to knowing, you know, what bait would do under the water. So let's see what happens. Let's work a little further up with this and see if we can knock another one or two. So the reason I went with a free rig over like a drop shot is I wanted the bait to stay down closer to the bottom, because I had thrown reaction and we were getting some interest like on the jerk bait, but I could see them come up and look and then immediately go back to the bottom. So I wanted to put something, you know, closer in the zone that they seem to really be relating to. So I decided to go free rig over drop shot so that it could stay down the bottom. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of making cross current casts. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to crawl it really slow so that it just kind of quivers in the current. Remember, the current's going to give your bait some motion too, and then I'll give it a couple little twists, and then I'll lift my rod high, just very controlled, high and then down immediately. So what that does, it allows that weight to fall straight down. So if you watch my rod here, I'll let it get down to the bottom. So the weight's going to sink down first, and that worm's going to kind of quiver in the current. So I'm going to just give it a couple little movements, kind of work the worm back to the weight. Okay.
That's how you work it. Nice one, dude.
Nice one. Oh, he's got me in some grass. Back in the grass. Oh, got him now. Nice. Good one. So check it. So as suspected, feeding on crawdads. Right, so that's what they're feeding on. And you put that Doe Life stick next to it, and it's similar size, similar color profile, right? So that's why they're chewing that thing so well. But beautiful smallmouth, so heavy, fat. So I mean, eating very, very healthy. They just love that free rig, man. It's just, I know I talk about it a lot, but it's just such a great way to catch fish from a boat or from shore. It's just so versatile. Nice, beautiful fish. All right, buddy. Thank you so much. You're good to go whenever you're ready. All right. Nice one, Jeffrey. Nice. I didn't really get much of a demonstration there with the rod, but the rod that I use for free rig is the Megabass Destroyer P5 Windbuster. And I talk about this rod a lot. In my opinion, the Windbuster P5 is the best all-around spinning rod I think ever made. And it's actually a pure accident that this rod is good for the free rig. This rod is actually designed for throwing hard baits, designed to throw a jerk bait, a crankbait, a spinner bait, stuff into the wind that you don't want to backlash on your bait caster. But a happy accident happened. I don't know how it happened, but this rod is just amazingly sensitive. So it has that nice soft bend that you need for throwing reaction, but you can feel every single thing with this rod, which makes it perfect for a free rig, for a Senko, for any soft plastic presentation like that, right? So back demonstrating what we were doing. So we're gonna make the initial cast, we'll let that weight sink straight down, we're gonna let that bait kind of drift in the current, and I'm just gonna slowly work that bait back to the weight. okay? Just very slowly back to the weight. So it's just kind of coming up current unweighted. And then when it's back to the weight, if nothing's eaten it yet, then all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of give it a steady lift with my rod. Get it right into the...
Is that a fish?
Yep, it was in grass and fish came out and ate it. See if I can get him pulled out. There's like a big log right here that they keep getting me in. So let's see if I can get him to come out. I was pulling it through, you know, trying to get it, and I think it must have just popped and then it yanked back.
Do you feel him?
Yeah.
No way! Ben, show it off, dude!
Whew.
Ben, you're in...
current. I thought he was gonna be bigger, but we made it happen. He was down there.
Bro.
Oh,
You did it, dude.
there we go, another free rig bass. Nice, beautiful smallmouth. Oh man, what a crazy fight, dude. See, this is the shit from shore. It's just so fun. Like, it's always an adventure. Another free rig. All right, see you later. Well, I guess I need to work out more. Off that back edge. Just had to find the edge. Football. Fat, chunky smallmouth. Guy's been eating well. God, they're so beautiful, man. Pretty fish, fat fish. All right, thank you. All right, so we fished our first little stretch. We did well. We caught, you know, I don't know, maybe a dozen fish or so. A couple on reaction. Really, they seem to be super keyed on cross. So that seemed to be the key, the soft plastic. So we're just gonna move down the stretch, see if we can replicate similar areas, see if we can pick it apart a little bit more and see what happens. So let's keep going. I see little ones cruising around still, but
Right.
rip.
There it is. Big one. It's a giant, dude.
All right, that was the fun part.
Here we go. Get it, get it, get it.
Oh, shore fishing. All right,
That's a big
on
one.
the jig. Okay, not big, but a bite. Got some ripping current. Cool little smallmouth. Definitely on that craw pattern though, man. Yeah, so we're gonna keep at it for a little bit. Caught him. Funny, it seems like they eat it pretty quick after the cast, or they don't eat it.
Right.
Huh.
What were you saying?
I don't know.
What were you
Just
saying?
gonna shut up.
I didn't get that last
Of
part.
course, that's how that would work.
I literally didn't get that last part.
Oh, another crawdad. See it?
Oh yeah. Safe to say they're eating craws, huh?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe assumption, Jeffrey. Come here, little fella. Dude's fat. Fat little sucker.
Pretty one, dude.
Yeah. Good thing we figured out early that they were eating craws, huh, Jeff?
Absolutely. And the Doe Life stick and green pumpkin.
Doe Life stick just matches that craw perfect, and I mean,
Catch them.
shit, just keep catching them. Go back out.
Good one?
No.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's a big one with it. See it?
Is there? Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, that's a good one, dude. He's kicking your ass.
Yeah. And remember, my line's super frayed.
This is it, dude. This is the end of the video. You're sweating, I see it.
Oh, the strain.
Dude, that's a good
That sucker.
Oh, get it, dude, get it. Oh, thank God. Yeah. That's
Nice
the model.
one. Nice.
That's a good one. Best one of the day, dude.
Yeah, baby.
Doe Life stick.
Yeah.
Coming through.
Beautiful bass. Beautiful Arizona smallmouth. I think we're selling our boats, Jeff.
Yep.
Shore fishing's the deal.
See you, girl.
You know, not the biggest smallmouth, but it's been an amazing day. You know, we explored some new country, we caught a bunch of fish, beautiful fish, caught a couple nice ones. So, you know, hopefully this video helped show you how to break things down. You know, we didn't get as many reaction strikes as we thought, but we got, you know, some good ones, and yeah, we figured out a way to get some bites. So until next time, peace.